A dying billionaire transfers his mind into a new body, but the body isn't as empty as he was told.
Mr. Hale, it's an honor. The man who built New York.
Now, as you slip away, do you feel immortal? Designed to offer you the very best of the human experience. It's a lie.
What's that?
There is no science, no progress without sacrifice.
I never wanted others to suffer.
This is the story of a powerful man who refuses to die in Selfless, where identity is borrowed, memories aren't yours, and immortality comes with a price. 3 words to sum it up: reborn, deceived, unraveling. I'll break it down, drop some flick facts, and tell you if it's worth your time. A dying billionaire named Damian Hale receives a mysterious card from his friend that leads him to Phoenix, a secret facility where consciousness can be transferred into a new body. There, he meets Dr. Albright, the mastermind behind it all. Then Dr. Albright showed him a tube where a human body was being preserved. He explained that the body inside would be used to transfer Damian's life into a younger, healthy, and disease-free form. Damian is truly a man of great wealth. He has everything and can obtain whatever he desires. But one thing he cannot escape is a serious illness, terminal cancer that could take his life at any moment. Regarding the transfer of his soul into a new body, he still appears to be thinking carefully about it. If he chooses to proceed, then he must leave all his past behind. Before any of that happened, Damian met Claire, his daughter. Claire is an independent woman. Even though her father is a billionaire, she refuses to take advantage of him. Damian wanted to give his daughter a large amount of money, but she refused, not realizing this might be their final meeting. Damian conducted research before proceeding with the soul transfer, one of which involved shedding neurology. He also met Dr. Francis Jensen, an expert in the field. Damian suddenly coughed up blood and then fainted in front of his employees. He was rushed to the hospital, and at that moment, he realized his life would not last long. Damian also contacted the Phoenix Health facility again. It seemed he was ready to undergo the process of transferring his soul into a new body. Previously, they had set a condition that Damian's death must be witnessed publicly. The next day, Damian went to see Martin, and that was where Damian finally died.
I wish you could drive out. Come see the new place.
Call 911! Damian!
An ambulance arrived to take Damian away. Instead of taking him to the hospital, the ambulance brought him to Phoenix to immediately begin the soul transfer. Previously, he had been told not to place anything inside his metal form, as doing so could disrupt the soul transfer process. When Damian realized he was no longer in his original body, he found himself in a new and younger form. After the procedure was completed, Damian had to remain hospitalized for several days while adjusting to his new body. For a moment, he seemed to be hallucinating, but Dr. Albright assured him that it was normal. Dr. Albright then gave him a newspaper that reported his death. Damian looked saddened as he saw the photograph of his daughter. Albright then took away the newspaper and laptop so that Damian would avoid revisiting his past. Damian began adapting to his new body by engaging in activities such as exercise, swimming, walking, and more. Dr. Albright also gave him medication that he needed to take regularly so he would no longer experience hallucinations. Now that he was physically and mentally prepared, he was also ready to leave the Phoenix Health facility. Albright provided him with a new identity complete with all necessary documents under a new name. He was then driven to his new home, and Albright told Damian to enjoy his new life with all its comforts. Damian began his day by playing basketball with local residents. He made a new friend named Anton. He invited Damian to hang out that evening. When Anton spent time with 2 women, one of whom was intended for Damian, they stayed out late until Damian returned home with his companion and experienced intimacy in his new body for the first time. The next day, Damian resumed his usual routine. He also made sure to take his medication and exercise. Damian was enjoying his new life very much. He frequently changed partners for dating and pleasure. However, when Damian reached a point where he no longer enjoyed what he used to do, he began to reflect on the article about his death and remembered his daughter. This caused him to forget his medication and led him to hallucinate again. He immediately searched for the medicine because he felt it was too late and suddenly began recalling memories about someone. Apparently, he was experiencing memories from the body he now inhabited. He saw a water tower and also saw a woman with a small child. When he regained awareness, he quickly took his medicine, which left him confused. He then searched for the images from his memory on the internet. He looked up the water tower, shaped like a pumpkin, and found it was located in Este Louis. Damian decided to visit the location of the water tower before retrieving a box he had prepared before his death. Upon arrival, he saw a house and knocked on the door, but no one answered. He then turned around and noticed a horse, so he chose to enter through the back door. When he entered the house, he saw a photo of the woman who was exactly the same as the one from his visions. He also found a medical receipt that appeared to belong to someone with a serious illness until he entered another room and saw a photo of himself with the woman and the child. There are also many pictures of him as a soldier and various other photographs. Suddenly, a gun was pointed at him from behind, and it turned out to be the woman from the earlier photo. The woman was shocked because she believed her husband was still alive. It became clear that the body Damian inhabited belonged to this woman's husband. She could not believe that Damian, whom she thought was her husband, was still alive. Suddenly, someone arrived, and it turned out to be a messenger sent by Dr. Albright to retrieve him. Anton, who was believed to be his friend, was also there, and it turned out he was also working for Albright. They claimed they had been following him for his safety, but he did not believe them. Moreover, when Damian went to the bathroom, he saw the woman's car being set on fire by Albright's men. At that moment, someone attacked him, but Damian managed to overpower him first. They eventually burned the house. However, Damian survived and managed to bring the woman into the basement. From there, Damian was able to eliminate all those men and escape with the woman. The woman still did not understand what was happening. She continued to believe that Damian was her husband, but Damian insisted that her husband was not him. After Damian explained everything, the woman named Madeline began to understand, and they went to pick up her daughter from school. When she picked up her daughter, Damian looked at Madeline's phone, where there was a video celebrating her daughter's birthday. Apparently, Damian's body had once belonged to a man named Mark, who was Madeline's husband. In the video, Mark gave a birthday cake to his daughter, who was seriously ill and required expensive treatment. In the video, his daughter Anna wanted her father to teach her how to swim despite her fragile condition, which made it impossible. Mark felt deeply saddened by his daughter's condition. It turned out that Mark had sold his body to Albright's Phoenix Company so he could pay for his daughter's medical treatment. Afterward, his daughter ran to him and hugged him even though it was Damian. Anna truly missed her father and believed he was still alive. They returned home, and that night, they stayed at a motel. Even though the body was Mark's, the soul remained Damian's, and he tried to understand what shedding neurology meant. After searching online, he discovered that Dr. Francis Jensen had died, but Albright appeared beside him. It turned out that Jensen's death was only reported news without real proof. In reality, his soul had been transferred into a younger body by the man beside him, Dr. Albright. Because he missed another dose of medication and began hallucinating again, he saw fragments of Mark's past. The next day, they decided to visit Dr. Jensen's wife to find answers. There, Damian claimed to be an acquaintance of Jensen. Jensen's wife said there was once a young student of her husband who often visited their home. Perhaps that person was Albright, meaning his body now carried Dr. Jensen's soul. Naturally, Albright visited frequently because she was his wife. Albright also explained that Damian could not fully control his new body because he often forgot his medication and experienced frequent hallucinations. However, remnants of Mark's soul still existed within him, as shown by his instinctive reaction when he grabbed a weapon and aimed it at Albright. He immediately forced him outside, but Albright's men were already waiting and attacked him. Damian hallucinated again, and when he regained focus, he tried to fight Albright's men. When Damian was overwhelmed and nearly killed, Madeline saved him. It turned out that the attacker was Anton, identified by the necklace he wore, meaning Anton had died earlier and his soul had been transferred into another body. They finally managed to escape. On the way, they stopped briefly because Madeline needed an explanation. Amid the confusion, Damian explained that Mark's body was no longer her husband. Damian had been reborn into Mark's body by purchasing it to gain a new life. Madeline was shocked and broke down in tears. She regretted seeing her husband's body again because she did not know how to explain it to her daughter. They eventually continued their journey, and Damian decided to go to Martin's house, his best friend. Upon arriving, Martin initially did not believe Damian's story. Damian tried to convince him by revealing past details only they both knew. Eventually, Martin believed that it was truly his best friend, and they stayed the night. Damian saw Anna sitting by the pool. He then remembered the moment from the earlier video where Anna wanted her father to teach her how to swim. In the end, they swam together while Madeline watched from upstairs, crying with happiness because it was the moment her daughter had longed for. Madeline, who deeply missed her husband, approached Damian and kissed him. Meanwhile, Anna seemed to hear something unusual. It turned out to be a room filled with toys. Damian and Madeline immediately rushed to find her. They discovered Anna playing with a boy who claimed he lived in the house. But why was he locked inside the room? Damian became suspicious. So, he took Anna and Madeline outside. He then questioned Martin about it. It turned out that Martin's son had died, and the boy was another body he had purchased to house his son's soul, meaning it was the same process Damian had undergone. Meanwhile, they suspected that Albright's men would search the house, so they left Martin's home. They separated, with Madeline and her daughter taking one car while Damian used another. This was done to avoid being followed again by Albright's men. However, Damian was being tracked by Anton. When he tried to escape, more men were already waiting. A chase followed, but in the end, Damian managed to survive and eliminate them all. Damian stopped at a restaurant and met Martin, who had been searching for him. Martin then gave him the same medication so he would not lose control. Martin explained that if Damian continued taking the drug for more than 6 months, the original owner of the body would disappear permanently. However, Damian was determined to take revenge on Albright. After another hallucination, Damian finally discovered the location of Albright's secret facility. When he arrived, he managed to defeat several guards. He also found Anton's lifeless body. It turned out that Albright had been waiting for him. Damian was captured, and his body was prepared for another soul transfer. Anton's soul was about to be placed into Damian's body, but Damian secretly placed metal in his mouth, ensuring the process would fail without Albright noticing. When Damian regained awareness, Albright asked his name. Damian pretended to be Anton. His plan to deceive Albright's men was initially successful. However, Albright soon realized that the transfer had failed after checking the system. He discovered the metal Damian had hidden. Damian quickly escaped and went to rescue Madeline and Anna. They reunited and fled the facility. However, Damian was confronted by Albright, who realized he had been deceived. At first, Albright believed he was hallucinating when flames suddenly engulfed him, but it was real and caused by Damian. In the end, Albright burned to death, and they successfully escaped. Afterward, Damian had to say goodbye to Anna, which made her deeply sad. The next day, Damian went to meet Claire, his daughter. He introduced himself as someone who had known her father. He told her that her father had spoken about her often and was very proud of her. He also said that her father regretted not being there during her childhood. Damian handed her an envelope and left. Inside the envelope was a letter he had written. From a distance, Damian watched as his daughter read it in tears and then smiled. In the final moments, Damian is seen waking up, but it is revealed that Mark has regained control of his original body. He then sees a laptop containing a recording of Damian expressing gratitude for the chance to live through him. He had experienced many moments and had met Anna, his daughter. Eventually, Damian stopped taking the medication. As a result, Mark's consciousness fully returned, and Damian disappeared forever. After everything was complete, Mark, now fully restored, went to reunite with his wife and daughter. They were finally together again, bringing the story to a heartfelt conclusion. Selfless isn't just a sci-fi thriller about transferring consciousness into a new body. It's a story about identity, morality, and the price of a second life. Damian doesn't just escape death. He steals someone else's life to survive. Immortality isn't freedom, it's responsibility. A new body doesn't mean a new conscience. You can change your face, your name, and your life, but you can't escape who you are. The movie shows that living forever only matters if you can live with your choices. Flick fact number 1. The process in the movie is called shedding, where a person's consciousness is transferred into a younger body. Flick fact number 2. The movie slowly reveals that the bodies used for shedding are not artificial. They are real people. My conclusion is that Selfless is a story about identity and consequence. Calm, mysterious, and slowly unfolding. The movie shows that a second life always costs someone else their first. It asks one important question. If you could live forever, but it meant taking someone else's life, would you do it? On the Flick verdict scale, this movie is a must-watch. It's slow, thoughtful, and morally uncomfortable. Bottom line, a second life always has a first owner. If you could live forever in another body, would you do it? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and follow Flick Favorites for more movie recaps.